Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Tim Kylo broadcast booth here at W. Michael Ross 66 Stadium at CBC High School. We have the concluding game of the 2014 CBC tournament, the 37th consecutive year of the CBC tournament. We have a good one for you, too. Historical rivals going at it. The cadets of CBC going against the Junior Bills from St. Louis University High School. My name is Tom Eichwald. I'll be bringing you the game. Alongside me, CBC's JV coach, Scott Hingle. Scott, nice to have you on the broadcast.
Thanks for having me. It's always fun to do it. Always good rivalry here, SLUH and CBC. Again, I know Coach Mickler, been here a few years. Always reminds the boys of the rivalry and what the expectations are of the result.
And, of course, the way this tournament has taken shape, let me give you the situation both of these teams are in. First, for the Junior Billikens, they are in the lead in this tournament. They have 10 points, as does Vianney, but since SLUH has not yet conceded a goal, they've won two 1-0 games. Since they've not yet conceded a goal, they have the tiebreaker on fewest goals allowed. That is the first tiebreaker. So SLUH in the driver's seat right now. CBC, on the other hand, so only SLUH or CBC could win this tournament at this point. In other words, that's what that means. So for CBC, they're sitting on 5 points. So CBC is sitting on 5 points. So you get 3 points for a win. So obviously, if CBC beats SLUH, that wouldn't be enough on its own. However, if you get a shutout, you would get 1 extra point. And you also get points for goals up to 6 goals. So for CBC, if they get a shutout tonight, then they would get a 3-point win. If they get a shutout win, they would get a 3-point win plus 1 point for shutout, which would take them to 9 points. So in other words, they need to win 2-0. The 2-0 would be the simplest result for CBC to take the tournament championship. Of course, Vianney, the defending champions. So for CBC, they have their work cut out for them. And I think, Scott, that one of the problems we've seen with this CBC team is getting off to a slow start. They go behind early. So I think if you can get off to a fast start, you can tell these guys, look, we need to win this game 2-0. We need to score goals. So go out and score them early. I think that gives, maybe that'll help the kids kind of recognize that situation. We're going to throw it to public address announcer Matt DeGrief for the starting lineups, opening prayer, and national anthem.
This evening's third and final round of the CBC tournament features the Junior Bills of St. Louis University High School and your home CBC Cadets. Here are the starting lineups. First for the visiting Junior Bills. In goal, number 1, Albert Weinwart. Number 4, Matt Freen. Number 7, Elijah Ezerez. Number 8, Ingram Tolish. Number 10, Clark Conway. Number 13, Kyle Schnell. Number 14, Elliot Boarding. Number 15, Joe Jasso. Number 19, Will Minnick. Number 20, Peter Simon. And number 22, Alex Silverud. The Junior Bills are coached by Mr. Charlie Martell. And now the starting lineup for the home CBC Cadets. In goal, number 1, John Huber. Number 2, Ethan Degg. Number 5, Kurt Gertison. Number 6, Nico Caritas. Number 7, Sam Leach. Number 8, Nick Dempster. Number 14, Drew Greaser. Number 15, Adam Whitnauer. Number 17, Brendan Fisher. Number 22, Max Steffen. And number 23, Jake Meyercord. The cadets are coached by Mr. Terry Mickler. At this time, we ask that you please rise. Gentlemen, remove your caps for our opening prayer and the playing of our national anthem. Let us remember that we are in the holy presence of God, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, we are grateful for the opportunity to begin this evening in prayer, and we thank you for the safe arrival of all who are gathered here. As we take part in tonight's contest, please help us to do so with good sportsmanship and with respect, not only for one another, but also for the abilities and the efforts of all who compete and officiate this game. Please keep all players free of injury and allow everyone safe travel home this evening. For this we pray. Amen. St. John Baptist de La Salle, live Jesus in our hearts.
And we are all set for a kickoff here at W. Michael Ross 66 Stadium. We want to thank you for joining us on the Cadet Student Network. We'd like to state right at the start of this broadcast that this is a student-led broadcasting initiative. We bring you not only CBC athletic events, but also academic events, theater performances, band concerts. If it happens at CBC, we have it here on CSN. We have a number of students helping to make the broadcast tonight possible. We want to thank Alex Sam. We want to thank Bryson Schroeder. We want to thank John Rolfe. We want to thank Charlie Hines. We want to thank John McQuaid on camera. Certainly a good crew here tonight. So everything we are doing is being supported and was started by our students. So we want to thank them for this. We'd also like to state at the start, you can follow us on Twitter here at CSN. You can even tweet us mid-game. You can send us your thoughts, shout-outs, questions, whatever you want to send across. So you can tweet us at @CBCCSN, @CBCCSN. Feel free to send us shout-outs, anything you'd like to get on the air during the broadcast, and we will do our best to work it in. So what you're going to see at the start here is CBC in the white attacking right to left across your screen, and you're going to see the Junior Bills in the navy blue long sleeves, you know it's fall, attacking from left to right. And keys of the game, Scott, right as we see the opening kickoff, some of the keys of the game to look for both sides. Let's start with the CBC Cadets.
Well, consistency is number one. You know, CBC hasn't played consistent 80 minutes all year. You know, that's what Coach Mickler's dying for. Again, he's still playing around the lineup, as you can see, and he still hasn't found his starting 10. So, as he said, one day these 10 guys are the best, the next day a whole different group. So he's still begging for that consistency, as a unit. And he's still finding that, trying to find, people to defend, people to distribute, people to score. So
and we mentioned still experimenting tonight. We actually have a new formation tonight. CBC playing a 3-4-3 with, as we see, Clark Conway is going to get the first shot of the game. I think he deflected off a defender, but I don't think he hit it like he wanted to either. And John Huber grabs it. So a 3-4-3 tonight. Across the midfield, it's a little bit of an interesting lineup, something we really haven't seen before. Brendan Fisher is going to play alongside Nico Caritas. So instead of playing the, Brendan right in front of the back four, then Nico a little more advanced, the midfield triangle that he's familiar with, that Coach Mickler prefers, he's going to play a flat four across the midfield. On this left-hand side, Max Steffen. On the right-hand side, Jake Stumpf. Up top, you have a three-attacker system. In the middle, you have Nick Dempster right now, although they'll be switching. Nick Dempster, Jake Meyercourt, and then on the wing, right now he's on the left, but we'll probably see him make his way over to the right at some point, is Max Leach. So definitely a new lineup for CBC. Now going over to the Junior Bills of SLUH, and we'll talk about this lineup, the formation obviously as the game continues. But for SLUH, possession is the key. We've seen them in the past play kind of the up, back, and through, and just very direct up the middle. What we're seeing from this team is a lot more versatility. And for me, every time I watch this team, everything goes through Matt Frein. Number 4 is the key for these Junior Billikens tonight. You see him. He's not that big, but he's wearing some bright green shoes, and he certainly fills them nicely. He is the possession guru for SLUH. As you'll see, he'll get on the ball, and his distribution is peerless in the MCC right now. So he really is the player, and if they're going to dominate this game, it's going to come from the feet of Matt Frein. Now, up top for SLUH, also some dangerous options. Scott, you want to talk a little bit about the way SLUH have been attacking and some of the players to watch?
Yeah, definitely. SLUH attacks very direct. They come usually right up the middle. Number 14 and number 19. Number 14 is Elliot Boring, and 19 is Will Mimic. Those two guys are very, very dangerous because they know how to do one thing. That's go up top and score. And they don't waste much time, waste much touches. As you see CBC on a little rush here.
Leach swinging it out to Dempster. Dempster's going to get a little bit of time on the ball, but he is closed very nicely there by Alex Solverud.
Again, what SLUH does well is that they're smart, they play simple, and they stay within themselves. They don't try to do too much. They have a game plan, and they stick to it. They don't try to do more than what they're capable of. They don't try to do the FIFA moves that you see some of our guys do every once in a while. All right. So again, which I think is good for SLUH and what CBC's got to learn from. He's like, okay, make them make complicated plays.
And as you see, Adam Smith losing it to Clark Conway, but getting it back. And now you have Drew Greaser over there on the right-hand side. And I would be very interested to see how Drew Greaser plays at that wingback position. We saw him on Thursday night give the ball away far too many times to DeSmet. So we look to see, is he a little bit more composed tonight? Does he try to find the easier pass instead of hitting the home run ball every single time? Ball over the top by Max Steffen. Dempster gets on the end of it. The freshman does a nice job to get that. Sam Leach has a little bit of space. He scored from here earlier this week. He gets closed down, and Jake Stumpf does a nice job of keeping possession. Now Max Steffen. Can CBC keep up this intensity for a prolonged period of time? This is something we haven't seen. The intensity in this area of the pitch has been lacking all season for CBC, with the exception of the last minutes of a few games.
And Coach Minkler's got an offensive group out there. Max Steffen, offensive midfielder. Again, obviously 3 forwards are probably at their best when they're up top and forwards with Leach. Leach has been playing wing mid, but he's really talented up top. And
then Nico Caritas, who certainly does a nice job of getting forward. That is his forte.
Right. Derby star in the stands. Yeah, and so again, a lot of pressure on Nico with this lineup, a lot of pressure on Brendan Fisher, because, again, they're the guy to get back and forth both ways. I think Brendan's going to play a little bit behind Nico and be a support, but he will go up. But, again, he's got to be Ethan's support back, though, too.
And here is Nico playing it back to the defense. That was Greaser.
Again, it just puts a lot of pressure on the 3 backs to make sure that they don't make mistakes. Because if they make mistakes, like a bad pass or something like that, it's really going to be magnified.
And there was Fisher doing a nice job of tracking back, but he gives the ball back pretty cheaply to Matt Frein here. And this is not the guy you want on the ball if you are CBC. Plays it up to Elliot Boarding, who lays it off. This is the area where we've seen SLUH be deadly. They've only scored twice in this tournament, but the chances they've created, the opportunities they've created, they have caused a lot of problems for a lot of teams.
It's going to be interesting to see how the 3 guys up top come back and help. Do the wing guys pinch and then Dempster stays high, or does Dempster pinch and the other 2 guys stay up high?
Well, I think it gives us the option, and we've seen a need for this throughout the season as we get a cross in here cleared by Stumpf. And now Meyercord tries to find Dempster. Good ball, but I think Dempster's going to lose out to Jasso on that one. He plays back to Reinwart. But one of the needs we've seen for CBC has been checking back to the ball. There's been a lot of spaces where the gaps up top open up. So one of the things I look for in this 3-man line, like you said, not just who's going to drop back, but who's going to show for the ball. Right. When Max Steffen has the ball, when Nico Caritas has the ball, when Drew Greaser or Adam Smith has the ball, who is going to step back from this front 3 and be an intermediate option? The nice thing about having 3 is that you can have somebody do that and still have 2 guys up top who can combine instead of counting on 1 guy up top to hold it while the guy who checked back gets back up. So it gives you a few more options for a little bit more possession in the top of the field.
I think the 3 guy can't, though, stay with themselves. Sometimes when you put 3 guys up top, they think those 3 guys against those 4 backs and don't include the midfield. I think that's one mistake that it's very common when you play 3 guys up top. You got to include Max and Jake Stump right now, okay, and Nico obviously. So again, you got to go 6v, whatever, 4 or 5 or 6, whatever it is. So again, like we saw Jake Meyercord, play it to Nick, which wasn't a bad ball. But again, I think I would like to have seen a square ball to Nico to see what would happen there.
Right. And we talk about standouts this season. Certainly Nick Dempster as a freshman striker has been outstanding. But also coming on, especially in the last few games since he came back from injury. Here's Frine on the ball. Can't quite find Azraz. But is Sam Leach over here on this left-hand side right now, number 7. One of the players wearing green shoes. Seems to be in vogue tonight. A lot of green shoes out there right now.
Again, when Sam's got open space, he's so dangerous. And this is what this lineup's going to do, is going to give him some space on the left-hand side.
And this is going to be a throw-in going out for, well, initially going out for SLUH, but then the referee.
Center guy overruled the linesman. You don't see a ton of.
And CBC will get the throw. Greaser, who can throw it quite a long ways.
Again, I'd like to see Adam Smith kind of pinching. I'm not sure if he's on your screen, pinching a little bit to help out, right? Loose balls.
Dempster beats Jasso. Meyercord in the middle. Meyercord gets a shot off, and it sails just wide. That was awkwardly bouncing, but I think Meyercord will feel that he should have at least put that on frame.
I think he's got to go inside the foot on that one. He went with the toes, didn't get his toe down far enough. Again, if he goes inside the foot, you get a little bit more control. He didn't need any power on it. All he needed was accuracy on frame, like you said.
So the first clear-cut chance of the game goes to CBC. And a shot just wide of the post from Jake Meyercord. All started when Meyercord found Dempster out wide.
Again, those 2 guys have been combining very well together all season so far.
Right, and I have yet to see Max Steffen figure in that. When we've seen Max Steffen at his best, it's been alongside. It has been a good claim by Johnny Huber there and a good swing of possession. And here is Steffen. When Steffen's been at his best so far this year, and granted he's just come back in after injury, it's been alongside Meyercord. So in theory, Dempster, Leach, and Meyercord is a formidable top 4. But we really haven't seen that chemistry yet. So that'll be something to watch as the game develops.
We talked about checking back, and right there we saw 3 forwards just running forward. Max Steffen was begging for somebody to check back, any of them. And he played a ball up top, 50-50 ball. You got to do better than that. You got the possession, no pressure on you. Got to be able to have some type of possession, whether it be a forward checking back or
Nico stepping
up. Yeah.
So 10 minutes gone here.
I think it's going to take some time to kind of get used to this formation. Coach Mickler yesterday didn't really have an on-the-field practice. They did more of a mental practice, talking about mental, adversity and things of that nature. Reading some books and
really focusing
stuff like that.
Really focusing on transforming the mentality of a group.
Right.
That has been the focus, and it's certainly a group in need of transforming of mentality. I'm not sure exactly how to word that. It sounds awkward, but this group needs it, however it should be worded.
I think I could almost argue that almost all high school students need it, or some athletes would need it maybe. Because, again, I think that, adversity is something that, is there, and it's just not enough time that people really try to overcome it.
Well, and the problem isn't I don't know, with this team, I don't know that it's so much adversity. The problem really is, how do I put this delicately? It's themselves. I don't know if it's a lack of belief or just a lack of effort or whether it's a lack of just edge. I don't know if there's the fight in this team.
Trust in one another, I think. Maybe
right. And obviously, I mean, that goes, that develops as the season goes. But, we're a couple weeks into the season here, and we really haven't seen much of that except in glimpses. So at some point, you got to start piecing that together into a performance. And the one time they've been able to do that was actually in a 1-0 loss to Collinsville. So that puts you in an awkward situation as a team.
But again, it is a lot of guys, freshmen, a few sophomores, juniors and seniors kind of coming together for the first time. It's a pretty different team than last year, so taking a little time to bond. Again, got a lot of seniors, but again, the majority of the guys getting a lot of the minutes are some youngsters. See, we talk about a mistake right there, Drew Greaser on a fan. But again, that's what we're saying. That's dangerous. A quick anytime the three backs make an error, that Fisher had a sprint back to cover. And so it just really gets magnified.
And look how much time Matt Frine has on the ball.
Right. I think I would assume Coach Mickler told Nico that's got to be his guy.
And I was talking to Coach Glenn Ziffel, a varsity assistant, earlier before the DeSmet and Vianney game. We talked about that very thing, about closing him down and saying that either Brendan Fisher or Nico Caritas is going to have to be stepping up on him at all times. The problem with that against SLUH is they put a lineup out there where they have so many guys forward that they pin you deep just because of who they have on the field. Because when you have Conway and Azrez and Boarding and Peter Simon, when you have all those guys up there, the midfield tends to get sucked very deep in their own penalty area, in an effort to try to just get behind them.
Right.
And that leaves a lot of space for Matt Frine. And when you do that,
and Frine does a good job of just kind of letting everybody go forward, and he kind of is that release that it's gonna be hard to mark him. Let's be honest, because he's gonna stay away from where the ball is. He's gonna be in the open space.
And really the master of that role that Frine plays is Andrea Pirlo. If you're a fan of soccer and you've been around a while, you've watched Pirlo, and you've seen him, especially in the last few years. I mean, the guy's pushing 40 and still going, and the reason is because he does that. He sits in behind everybody else. He just gets the ball, swings possession, and he sees passes nobody else sees. He hits passes nobody else can hit.
Right.
And that is very much the mold that Matt Frine is of.
And it's not like it's a lack of effort. He's just reading the play and reading where he needs to go to get the ball. I mean, it takes good vision to do that. And, it's a skill. It's a skill that he does, and it really helps at times. It's hard to teach. I've been trying to get some of my guys to do that. Don't foul the ball. Stay back. Be the release point. Be the back pass.
Well, that's your first instinct from the time you start playing soccer. I mean,
exactly.
You watch kids go out there, and you get the cloud of dust moving down the field. Looks like, Charlie Brown and friends decorating a Christmas tree. Hubert comes out to punch and goes up over. Can't tell who that was. Looked like it might have been Elliott Boarding.
Great job, though, by Johnny to come out and get the punch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing that, that he's been a little weak on the last couple of games is, coming out but not getting the punch. This time he did and got the punch and took the contact as well.
Right, and that was Elliott Boarding who went up and over, and Elliott Boarding is no small man himself. So good job from Johnny.
Timed it well. I mean, he got it at the height of his jump.
But again, a good ball in provided by SLUH.
Yeah,
so
very dangerous. Good
distribution and good ideas. And after those first 5 minutes where we saw CBC on the front foot, they're getting in danger of getting pinned back here. So can Dempster hold this for some of his other teammates? Instead, he tries to quick ball through to Leach. I would have liked to seen him maybe play back to the midfield a little bit and let a few more options go up, but he thought he had something there.
I'm Coach Mickler, Coach Ziffel. I'm kind of yelling at Nico and be like, you got to get in an offensive attack.
Right.
He's not in the offensive attack at all. That's the problem with one center. Essentially they had two center midfielders with Fisher, but Fisher's really helping back with the defense right now. Kind of see when the flow is. With the one center, one offensive center midfielder, it's got to be you all the time. So there's no breaks. Every time the forwards get the ball, you got to take a 10, 15-yard sprint up to provide that back pass.
And here is Frine.
Ton of space.
Good control, keeps it. And there's going to be a long ball played by Kyle Schnell. Adam Smith can't quite find a teammate. And Stefan gets back and covers. Well, we have a second. We want to ask you, Cadet fans, are you protected? Call State Farm agent and CBC alum Tim Kylo for all your insurance needs. Tim Kylo is more than just the best insurance guy in town. He's also the presenting sponsor of CSN, and we're incredibly grateful for his support. Call Tim at 314-842-4442. That's 842-4442. Or send him an email at tim@timkylo.com. That's K-I-L-O. So we want to thank Tim for his support, and if you're looking for some insurance, give him a call. Tell him we sent you.
So far, defense has been real conservative. Just kicking the ball out, not really trying to find guys up top. Like to try to maybe start trying to find Dempster up top.
And what you can't quite see, and now you see it on your monitor, that the only guy up as an outlet is Nick Dempster. He gets a little touch on the shoulder of Solverud and commits the foul. But you have a 25 to 30-yard gap between the CBC defense and midfield, which is really condensed into one blob, and Nick Dempster. And that's not an effective way to relieve pressure, really, when you're under pressure.
I think I might go the opposite, and send the forwards on the wings back and keep keep the wing guys up,
right.
Dempster back.
Let them combine off of each other,
right.
or something. Let one of them drop a little bit deeper than the other, so you got an intermediate option too, maybe, or
right.
something.
Just because that way Dempster can help out Nico a little bit.
Right. Because what we saw against DeSmet, you might have heard on the broadcast, was essentially a hockey game. When in doubt, CBC would just kind of dump it into the zone and let somebody chase it. But you don't have boards to work with in soccer. So Kyle Schnell defending against Max Steffen and Sam Leach. Almost said Max Leach, but that's Sam's older brother.
You notice how Dempster stopped his run and received the ball from Leach to, again, that's what we've really been wanting, guy to check back, and that was it.
Right, so it's going to be a corner to CBC. Nico's going to take an outswinger with the left. Swings it in. Taking a hack at it was Jake Stumpf with the left foot. Sails up and over everything, including the football goalpost.
Tried to get a little too much on that one.
Right. He really wound up on that.
Wholesale change for CBC, 5 new players in.
And coming on, you have Ryan Karen and Jake McFerrin up top, and Joey Dokai as well. Joey Dokai is going to play in the center. He's kind of your hold-up guy at this point, and McFerrin and Karen, Karen the speedy striker, and McFerrin more of a winger. You look for him to stay maybe a little bit wider. But
got Bell and Adler.
Yep, on the wings now. Daig does a nice job of heading clear. SLUH trying to regain and rally here. John Ratterman trying to get it done. Nice job by McFerrin of tracking back, but he can't pick out Ryan Karen.
Good idea, good play to defender. I don't think Jake saw him tracking back.
Right. And here is Adam Smith.
A little concerned about Drew Greaser right now. It's 2 missed plays in a row in the last few minutes. So, again, he's just got to get the confidence back up. Once he makes a good play, then the confidence is up, and then he should be okay.
And Nico can't quite win the challenge. Here's Boarding.
See, Fisher just needs to keep him wide. So let him go in. That's a foul.
Good tackle initially got the ball, but we say it a lot, but that is a situation.
He didn't call a foul. He didn't call the foul.
He did not call a foul. The linesman was waving the flag for it, but the referee overruled him. That's twice that the referee has overruled the linesman. First on a throw-in and now on a foul. I mean, initially it looked like a clean. Here's the situation. He came in slightly from behind, but he got the ball.
Right.
So that's kind of a 50-50 on whether or not.
After the ball, then he put up his legs and tripped him. And I think that's what would get you.
He was balancing himself, Scott. I'm sure that's what he will explain.
Well, that's the nice thing about being so short. He can pop up right away.
Right.
Fisher does.
And Ethan Daig misplays it. He's going to have to play it back to Johnny. He's going to have to boot it. And there it is.
Again, can't have those defensively.
And Ethan Daig did not start out the season as center back, but has sort of taken over the role. He reads the game well. He does a nice job when his duties are relegated to just defense. We talk about it a little bit with Ethan, some of the struggles of switching back and forth between defense and attack. But when he's back in that center back role, he reads the game very well. And frankly, I feel very comfortable with him at center back.
He does a good job of staying central, too.
Right. He doesn't drift wide. He doesn't get out of position. And he communicates, which is something that has been lacking a little bit at the back for CBC this year. McFerrin and Bell, 2 of the Jakes on the field trying to combine. We are currently in a 3-Jake formation. Jake Bell, Jake Stumpf, and Jake McFerrin. We are awaiting the 4-Jake formation with the return of Jake Meyercord, but we don't see that very often. So I hope to see it, just so I can say I have.
I think the touch, CBC's touch is just off. I'm not sure what it is.
Well,
it should be tired. I know they played 2 games and they had yesterday off, but
at the risk of sounding harsh, the touch hasn't been great this year. I mean, you haven't seen. I mean, a couple exceptions to that. I mean, Sam Leach has excellent touch. We've seen him a number of times bring down a hammered cross, but we've seen one of the themes in the CBC squad has been heavy first touch. Whatever that's worth.
It's been exploded the last 5 minutes. Everybody seems to have it.
And there's Matt Frine going into Ryan Karen.
See if we can play quick.
Nope, they're going to take their time, and Adam Smith's going to... Good play, keep possession. No need to rush anything. Finds Drew Greaser, who finds Nick Adler.
Like to find Adam Smith here. Nope.
They're trying to find Joey Dokai up top. Again, trying to do the hard work when the easy work's there. That one is cleared by Schnell. Again, there's a sloppy touch from Adam Smith, and Fisher has to bail him out.
Oh.
And Fisher takes a hard knock there from Boarding, and he gets up saying, where's the call for that one?
Well, he's not going to get it from the linesman.
No.
The linesman's not calling any more fouls. I can tell you that. Or at least I'm not the linesman.
So, all right, you call him yourself.
Yeah, right.
Chemistry in the officiating crew.
Yeah.
And here's the throw. Fisher heads clear. I think if you have to pick a most consistent player for CBC this season, it would have to be Brendan Fisher. He does a really tremendous job of playing that midfield role right in front of the back three. Does a nice job of covering. He's very aware, very calm.
He's quick to catch up to guys, and he reads the play well, and he's a spark plug. You know, he doesn't do a ton offensively, but he distributes, when needed to the right person.
And CBC has a player warming up. Looks like Trey Mickler over there getting loose. Ball goes off of Peter Simon, and it's going to be a corner for CBC. Nico's going to go over and take it. So the second corner for CBC.
I'd guess that Trey might be getting ready for Nico. Then coaches probably want to talk to him about, playing offensively in this new formation. That he's got to be more offensive and got to get the ball more from the forwards. He's got to be their support.
You got to say SLUH with a size advantage. Jasso heads clear, nice header. And what can Greaser do with it now? First of all, everybody needs to get back on sides. And Greaser can't find anybody. Peter Simon looks to counter against Nick Adler. Nice, or correction, that was Nico. Nice tackle by Nico. He's telling everybody to settle down a little bit.
But I think he's telling Drew you got to get that in the box. Because again,
everybody's up there.
Everybody's there. Just get in the mixer. I don't care how it is in there, because you never know what's going to happen in the mixer. And what I mean by the mixer is the 18 yards box.
Ball can take a deflection. Keeper can make a bad decision. Anything can happen when there are numbers in the box.
There's never bad things happen when you put the ball in the mixer. If you don't have any passes, I just say get in the mixer. Head, foot, volley, whatever it might be.
Straight in off your foot.
Yep.
You never know. Sometimes you see that cross turn into a goal in a hurry. Boarding turns, trying to get a cross off, but again, Fisher is there to block it. That was
cover for his guy.
That was Adler, the right winger, trying to go one-on-one with Boarding. Probably not the matchup you want, but then Fisher did a nice job supporting him. So over to take the corner now for SLUH is Peter Simon.
And swinger.
Lots of numbers in the box. Definite height advantage for SLUH in the box, but Clark Conway, one of the biggest threats, is now making his way off the field. Jasso gets up and hits it. Jake McFerrin tries to step up and clear it, and he does. Karen can't quite get onto it, though.
As you described, CBC, they know that one of their weaknesses is going to be balls in the air. They have a short team. Yeah. All right, so again, that's going to put a little extra pressure on Johnny, but again, short team doesn't mean they can't win head balls. And again, offensively,
but it does mean you shouldn't try to give up set pieces.
Exactly.
Watch your stupid fouls around that 30-yard line.
Again, two of the goals, I guess, last Saturday against Fortune South came off set pieces.
And DeSmet scored off a long throw.
Yeah, so again, those are things you got to eliminate. Again, but offensively, you just got to make sure you drive it more. You can't put it in the air, let guys get underneath it. It's got to be more, a line drive.
And McFerrin battling it out with Solverud, and the ball is going to go SLUH's way. So coming over here to take the throw is Ian Herford.
Be also interesting to see if Bell and McFerrin switch at any time.
Right. Both left-footed wingers.
Right. I think Bell might be a little bit more aggressive to the goal. Not that McFerrin isn't.
Bell has great instincts.
Right.
Probably more so than McFerrin. McFerrin puts himself
more of a supporting guy.
Right.
He's a good guy to get you stay wide and get the square ball too and things like that nature. And Jake's kind of more straight to goal guy.
So we're going to have the substitution here. Trey Mickler is going to come on, and you called Nico, Coach, and it looks like you're right. 13:07 to go. We do want to remind you during a stoppage of play that when you need an attorney, you want someone you can count on to protect your legal rights. The attorneys at Milliken Wright are here for you. Brian Milliken and CBC grad Chris Wright have fiercely represented the injured and accused in civil and criminal cases in the St. Louis metropolitan area for more than 15 years. Call Brian and Chris at 314-621-0622 or find Milliken Wright online at www.millikenwright.com. Milliken Wright will fight for you.
Okay, a little confused about what's going on here. Joey Dokai is playing back really far. Not sure if the formation has changed or if Joey's not playing that forward.
We've seen Joey have a kind of an instinct to track back. A very feisty player. He likes to be in the mix of things. So I wonder if he's just kind of dropping in behind the strikers, help out in midfield when he's needed, get forward when he's needed. You hope he doesn't get sucked too deep there.
Adam Smith didn't look like he had any idea what he wanted to do with that ball when he got to it.
Throw-in was the best possible result of that ball.
Right.
And Will Minnick's going to take it.
Again, the spacing of CBC is not real good. I mean, look at Jake McFerrin's right on top of Jake Bell. And, you know, that's part of the reason why I brought up Joey Dokai. I mean, where is he supposed to be? Is he supposed to be up top? Is he supposed to be out wide? Is he supposed to be center mid? Again, because the spacing is just lacking. Maybe we can reset the formation. Because Adler's playing pretty high. So I'm 99% sure he's the midfielder. So anyway, let's see what this attack goes.
It was initially a nice job by Karen to get himself through.
Right. Joey's a little comfortable on the ball.
And getting ready to come into the game looks like Jimmy Ignazak.
No, it's going to, I think it's.
Or is that Kirk Gertison?
Kirk Gertison.
Okay. My binoculars even are letting me down.
So, see what Kirk can bring. Kurt's a lot of energy, 10 minutes left. See what he can do. Hopefully, he can bring all the energy in one place and not kind of go crazy on the whole field. He needs to kind of be a little bit more centralized when he's in there on his position.
Now, can we get a dangerous ball in? You do have a little bit of height in there. You got Dokai and you have Mickler. Dokai goes for it. Ball goes off of Jasso's head, then off of Dokai's head, and it's still not out of danger for SLUH. Ryan Karen trying to keep it in. Takes a knock in the back, but they're not going to call that. Adam Smith lets it right out of bounds, and he's going to try to throw it right back in.
Like the ball, like the play, but I still think maybe Drew Greaser on the ball around the wall might have been a little bit more dangerous. But so next time, maybe that's an option you do if SLUH doesn't take it off.
So ball played long by Daig. Ingram Tolish initially cuts it off, but Adler wins it back. Nice job by Nick.
Exactly. Worked really hard.
And SLUH throw. At the risk of jinxing us, the good news is that, Clark Conway's not on the field right now, but the danger men for SLUH really haven't been too much of a factor. Boarding's gotten involved, but Peter Simon hasn't really been involved, and Clark Conway hasn't been involved. So you're doing something right for CBC if you're keeping them off the ball.
Yeah, SLUH doesn't look like they're real fluid right now. They're not really connecting many passes. When they get the ball in the offensive zone, it's been real shaky. Really their best offense has been stopping the clock because too many balls have gone over the fence. 2 balls in the last 30 seconds, I think, gone over the fence.
Those are the Derby stars, too, so there will be ball boys toiling down there late into the night if need be.
Yep.
And this is Gertison coming on.
Or the end of the bench will be going down there. So, again, like I was saying, SLUH, they're just taking advantage of CBC's mistakes so far. They haven't really done a very good job of taking advantage of mistakes. They kind of been taking a step or two towards it, but then losing it themselves.
And back on here is Clark Conway, one of the players I mentioned.
SLUH's trying to get anything probably going up front. Here's a dangerous throw.
Trey Mickler got up and won that. And now Clark Conway can't quite latch on, and good closing by Ethan Daig. Ball goes out of bounds, but that's a nice tackle. That's what you want from your center back. And there you see Johnny Huber calling out his markings, making sure everybody's accounted for. It's good to see, something we've been seeing a lot more of in recent weeks from Johnny, calling out markers and communicating. It's a good sign.
Yes, it is. Hopefully he continues and does it when, the pressure rises on the breakaways and things of that nature. That's when he really needs to do it.
Right. And Karen plays it out off of Matt Frine. Nice job by Matt of closing him down. But for CBC, let's see who checks to this ball. One person moves to him. Everybody else is just standing still. Trey Mickler was the only one who actually moved to that throw, and everybody else was just standing around waiting for it. Yeah. That is frustrating to watch.
Kind of been an issue the last couple of games as well.
Yeah, so here is Matt Lesko. He's got Clark Conway in support. Here's Conway.
Seems like SLUH's not even looking to shoot.
And here comes the cross. Goes back post looking for Simon. That was a cross from Ian Herford. Simon does a nice job to keep it in bounds, but then it is played out off the right foot of Drew Grieser.
And number 23 on SLUH, he had the ball in space, and he played out wide to Conway. I think he had a shot there if he took another step or two in.
Throw comes in. Ethan Daig misses it. John Huber does a nice job of claiming that, even though Jake Bell was swinging at him. So nervy moment there as Daig swings and misses, but good alert goalkeeping from Johnny Huber to smother it. We've seen clearing the ball be an issue for CBC's back line throughout the season.
Third ball over the fence.
And we're into the reserve balls. These are no longer the first choice balls. These ball boys are having a long night, aren't they, Scott?
I would not want to be one of them right now.
No.
Nor do I want to be. I think Coach Ziffel is going to send everybody in the bench to get those balls in about 5 minutes.
Well, especially if this performance doesn't get any better.
Yeah,
he might send the starters down there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how he feels about that.
It's like Coach Fuller's going to take it on himself and go find him.
We wish him well. We hope to see him reemerge.
And if he doesn't with the 3 balls, who's going to be in tomorrow morning.
Yep.
About 25 guys in white.
Digging through the woods.
What's going on now? Card?
Not sure. He's calling somebody over.
He stopped the clock, so that's pretty much a card.
Yeah, he's going to book Elliott Boarding. This is his second yellow card of the tournament. We saw him get one in the Vianney game. And what was one of the things that I saw in that Vianney game, Scott, from Elliott Boarding, he got a yellow card, a deserved yellow card, and then after that went up, grabbed the shirt of the goalkeeper while the goalkeeper was in the air, and was doing a little talking to some of the other players. The coaches probably saw that. So right now, CBC probably telling their players over on the sideline, this guy, when he comes back on, is going to be, vulnerable, mentally vulnerable maybe. So I think this is now, he didn't get another yellow, credit to him, but he put himself in a couple situations where I thought he could have if the ref had been feeling a little differently.
I think he must have been verbal. He must have said something. He went up. I think he's been pushing the guys in the back last couple of times when they're going up, and I think the ref probably told him to stop. But I think it also has to be verbal. He's still shaking his head. He's still upset about it. He doesn't understand it.
And
the coaching staff try to get an explanation.
He's still talking to the linesman. And the linesman's probably telling him, well, I don't know either. Apparently we're on different wavelengths here. And now SLUH looking to counter. This is Conway over here on the right-hand side. He's got options. Looks to cut inside. Nutmegs Adam Smith. Daig is there to mop it up, and Conway tackles him, goes out of bounds for a goal kick. But promising from SLUH. 5 minutes and 45 seconds to go. Still scoreless. CBC in the white attacking right to left. SLUH in the dark blue attacking left to right. Watching this on the Cadet Student Network, CBC Tournament. While we have a moment, we do want to thank all of our sponsors, like the Lab Gym on Manchester Road, Millpaws Piping and Supply, Let's Party Now Catering, and Guido's Pizzeria and Tapas. These loyal businesses make this broadcast possible. So be sure to support our sponsors, the CBC Alumni Association, our admissions department, and also sponsors CSN, and we appreciate their support. Also, let us know if you want to sponsor us on CSN. We're always in the market for new sponsorships. So if you're interested in reaching out to a lot of CBC folks, please check our website. And here we have a free kick being given to SLUH, and this is a shooter's dream right here.
Adam Smith just grabbed him and didn't let him turn instead of positioning a little bit better.
25 yards. You're going to have a 4-man wall here.
They're going to test Johnny right here. I can see it.
Yep. They got a lot of ways they can test him.
Again, we talked about restarts, right? Can't allow them. Here's a dangerous one.
And they're going to put a couple men over this just to make the wall think twice. They've got 4 guys over it right now.
Number 13 is dangerous. Okay.
Conway hits it low. Huber makes a save. Is there a rebound? No. Dade claims. That was a good reaction save from John Huber.
A deflection off somebody.
It is so hard to make that save when you're looking through a wall. So hard. You don't see the ball until pretty late, and the reaction time you have is very limited. So a nice job by Huber.
It didn't look like it hit somebody?
Especially if there was a deflection.
I thought it looked like it hit
somebody. I couldn't tell.
Right behind the wall. It looked like it hit somebody.
A nicely taken free kick from
that was a bullet, wasn't it?
Clark Conway.
Clark drilled that thing on the ground.
See, you can wear brightly colored boots if you can do that.
That was just a bullet.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. And I always talk about my team about driving the ball. He drove it. And
that thing was only about 2 feet off the ground at its peak.
I mean, that's what you want. Whew. Wish you could teach some of my guys that.
That'll scare the wall.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a quality shot. I mean, Johnny's got to get down, and there's a rebound that SLUH could have had. I mean, there's so many positives off that shot. It wasn't like a try to bend or anything like that where a goalie easily catch it.
Ball plays in, another 2 misses there. Conway is just a couple of maybe a foot or 2 away from latching on to the end of that. So more danger right now, and CBC
is just begging to get to halftime right now.
Yeah, 3 minutes and 17 seconds to go. Huber's going to take his time. I'm surprised he's not checking to make sure his shoes are tied or something right now.
His helmet on correct.
Yeah, maybe re-Velcro the gloves. Maybe you got some rubber in your glove. You got to empty it.
Yeah. Kirk Gerson with a great win. Kind of something we haven't seen a lot of from CBC, winning the ball in the air. Now get their own set piece.
Yeah, and Ryan Karen goes down, so they're going to throw numbers forward. Brendan Fisher back, Adam Smith back, and Ethan Degg, last man back for CBC right now. Everybody else is going to get in the box for this one. And it's nice that you do have Kurt Gertison on the field right now because this is an area where he can certainly help you. Greaser dumps it in. Headed clear by Frine, and can they counter? You could see the idea there. It was a good one from Sam Perry, but not able to get on the end of it. Adam Smith dumps it into Matt Frine, who's on the other team. Greaser tries to step up and clear. Nice job tracking back by Karen there. He's being closed down by Azarez. Good hustle from Elias. And now Adler dumps it in. Gertison can't quite get it through. CBC trying to close down and put some pressure up top. It's good to see. And
good win by Trey. Now see if he can distribute.
And ball down the side for Peter Simon. You do not want to give him the ball in
bounds.
space, fortunately, for CBC. The SLUH student section saying hello to Jake Bell this evening. Jake Bell over here in the left wing for CBC. Part of the charm of MCC soccer.
Absolutely. I'm sure he saluted them back after they welcomed him. Again, ball barely got out of bounds. I was wondering if the center guy was going to see the linesman's flag, and he read that well. So
1 minute and 10 seconds now. Still scoreless here in the last game of the 2014 CBC tournament. CBC on the break now. Ball played a little bit behind Gertison, who spins. Nice spin from Kurt. He's got Jake Bell over here on the other side. Can he respond to the SLUH student section with something here? Ball played in, still dangerous. Frine tries to head clear. Trey Mickler steps up, gets closed down. Gertison still on it. Misconnects with Adler.
I'd like to see Adler stay a little bit wider on that one, so he could have gave maybe, he might have been open, or Kurt might have had enough time to take a dribble or two to get a shot there. Again, just by pulling them out wide, gets that defender out there and gives, your teammate more time to make the decision. I think Kurt got it off a little bit, maybe too quick. But, again, that guy was coming on him, so that's why he gave it to Adler.
Not another one over the fence. Okay, the fence does its job on that one. 15 seconds to go now. Quick throw from Drew Greaser. Long one. Ryan Karen's probably not going to win that head ball too often. But the ball's still bouncing around, and SLUH's going to clear. Ethan Degg steps up and challenges. And Sam Perry can't get on the end of it. So that's going to do it for the first half. Scoreless between CBC and SLUH. We're going to take a break, let you hear from some of our sponsors, and when we come back, we will get you all set for the second half here at W. Michael Ross 66 Stadium. You are watching CSN.
Call State Farm agent and CBC alum Tim Kylo for all your insurance needs. Tim and the State Farm team provide a full insurance review to make sure you and your family are covered at the best possible price. Whether it's auto, renters, home, business, or life insurance, for more than 23 years, Tim has helped his clients manage the risks of everyday life and realize their dreams. For all your insurance needs, contact one of our school's most loyal alums, Class of 77 graduate Tim Kylo at 314-842-4442 or send him an email, tim@timkylo.com.
And we are back here in the Tim Kylo broadcast booth. It is halftime of CBC versus St. Louis University High School. At the half, CBC 0, SLUH 0. Now, we noticed, and we were commenting, that CBC broke the team meeting early at halftime, which you hardly ever see from Coach Mickler. What do you think he was telling them in there, Scott?
I'm going to tell you, Coach Mickler's honest. He's an honest guy. He doesn't want to beat around the bush. He was probably very blunt with them. He goes, you just played not very good 40-minute half, and you're tied 0-0. You're lucky to be there. So, let's take advantage of this opportunity that the SLUH hasn't scored, and let's beat our rival. All right? So, again, you got 40 minutes to show, what you can do. So let's turn it around and play a quality 40 minutes. We shoot for a quality 80 minutes. Well, we can't do that now, but we can do a quality 40 minutes. And I think he probably challenged the midfield. Midfield, you got to help the forwards. This is not a three, forwards game. You don't just give it to the forwards and then the game's over. It's got to be an attack as a unit. Defense, midfielders, and so on.
And I think for the Junior Bills, you have to say that they had a couple good runs, but the sustained possession in the final third wasn't really there. Right. They had good possession in the midfield, but that link wasn't quite there. So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if you're Coach Martell, you tell the guys, look, get the ball up, get it to the corner, play it back, just try to get some possession in that final third of the field and just see what happens. Any team can defend one run. Not many teams can defend and hold their shape when you're possessing it all around them.
Absolutely.
So
there hasn't been a lot of creativity from them in the offensive third. They seem to just take it right into the CBC defense. So, again, like you said, creativity, ball movement, passing, sharp passes inside the 18. They're just waiting for CBC to make a mistake, and then they're 18. Excuse me. And then capitalize on it. And that's what SLUH does great. I mean, they're a very good team at capitalizing on your mistakes. So, but, if CBC's not going to make the mistakes, you got to, design something up here on your own. You got to come up with some creativity, some passes. Stop just dribbling it into the defenders.
And here we go.
So, again, CBC's coming out with a lot of energy. You can hear it on the bench. You can hear it when they broke the huddle. So, let's see if that, goes to the field. Again, it's really easy to get excited on the bench and, in a huddle. But you got to bring it on the field.
And lineup-wise, it looks like we've gone back to the 3-5-2. You're seeing Brendan Fisher holding well behind Nico Caritas instead of alongside. We have Kurt Gertison on up here. And I think his job is probably to do what I just said SLUH needs to do. His job is to be a physical presence up top, try to hold some possession, maybe win a couple battles in the middle of the field, draw an extra defender, and see what happens.
I think he might be the attacking midfielder. He's going to be right behind the forwards and right above Nico.
That is the position he plays at the club level, I believe, at the club in the club game. I think he plays kind of an attacking midfield role or a holding midfield role in behind the striker.
Maybe he's the guy that they go to, the wing guys go to is the drop-off guy. But I would really like to see the forwards check back and give him the ball and then go through like an up-back through like we talk about so much.
And again, if we go back to a similar problem that we saw in 2012, of course that team winning the state championship, but what we saw about two-thirds of the way through the season is that they were having trouble getting possession in the final third. They were having to rely on the quick breaks. They were having to rely on the long balls. They weren't getting the quality possession in attacking areas that they enjoyed. So what Coach Mickler did is he moved Joe Corbett, the defensive midfielder and a very good possession player, physical presence. They moved him up just behind the strikers. And his job was just to be the linchpin, receive the ball, hold it, and let the attack form around him. So I wonder if we're seeing a similar strategy here, putting Gertison up there.
Absolutely. Let's hope Kurt can kind of do the same thing that Joe did a few years back. Again, I think that team has also had a lot of injuries, too, that helped by coming back. But, again, moving Joe up did really help. Joe was an attacking guy, and when he played that defensive role, he seemed to almost have
good ball from Mike. Leach is through if Dempster can find him. Good tackle by Solverud. If Dempster had been able to flick that one, even with the back of his heel, Leach was through. Sorry to cut you off there.
No. Good defense by SLUH guy. He's right behind him, not allowing that flick on to go happen. That's how you defend flicks. You just stand, you put the pressure on, and just let it hit off you. Hopefully that it goes forward and that you can get it, get the ball after it deflects off you.
And here's SLUH swinging the field here. Kyle Schnell over there plays it back in the middle for Elias Azarez. Oh, he lets it go thinking Frein had it. He didn't. Meyercord finds Dempster. Now Meyercord and Leach streaming forward. Ingram Tolish brings down Nick Dempster. The 2 8s combine, and Nick Dempster gets the foul. So a free kick in a dangerous territory for CBC. The goalkeeper looks like he's calling for a 4-man wall. I can't believe that. I guess he's calling for a 2-man wall.
I think I like
maybe 3.
I was like to say I need at least 3. I think.
Well, I think this is just maybe this is a tough shot here. Not really a shooting opportunity, but you put it at that far post, see what happens, just like that.
Yep.
And the ball played in out of bounds. That looked like Gertison who got on the end of that one.
Yeah, a little too high again for us. Again, we're a little bit shorter a team. We got to be more on a drive. Maybe, again, that's a good ball, but maybe we needed a short post.
Well,
guy in the middle with just kind of flick it onto the goal.
Or hit the low one, skip it at the keeper, see if you can hold it.
Yeah,
put some pressure on him.
Or, you hit there and hope that maybe somebody can touch it.
Right. All it takes is a toenail and
right. Deflection.
Anything can happen.
Types of thing like that.
Greaser and Leach combining well defensively there.
But again, that's knowing your personnel. Knowing that, we're not going to win as many head balls with Meyercord and Leach.
Right. And Meyercord finds Dempster. Leach unable to get on the end of it, but look at the speed of Dempster. Sam Leach is not slow. He's running up the wing, and Nick Dempster just closes him down.
It's a good double. SLUH defender had nothing other to do than to kick it out of bounds.
Right, good flick header there from Dempster. Can Leach get a cross off? He can. Near post. Nice job by Solver to get a foot on it, but it goes straight up in the air. That is not the clearance you want. Ball still bouncing around. Matt Frein latches on, and he's going to calmly play it to Peter Simon. That's why he's so good.
Right.
99% of the time you see a high school player get the ball in that situation, he's just going to kick it as hard as he can. Nice job by Matt.
He brought it down and then found the guy, and he did 2 things.
Now SLUH on the attack. They've got options. This is Boarding. Far post looking for Azarez. Nice defending there from Adam Smith, who saves the day. The ball was crossed around John Huber, so if Adam Smith doesn't make that tackle, it is probably 1-0 SLUH, which is a scoreline they're all too familiar with in this tournament. Now ball dumped in. Elliott Boarding allowed way too much space there. Daig again closes him, but Daig was playing him way offsides, or way onside rather. Would have been nice to see Daig take 1 or 2 steps forward and make Boarding move up.
Right.
Instead of letting him just sit there.
Again, I think Boarding had the line. I'm not sure why he stopped and made the cross. I think I would have gone maybe a step or 2 to the goal. I think he had a step or 2 on Fisher. I think he really bailed out the CBC defense by crossing it. Again, was it dangerous? Absolutely. But it could have been more dangerous. I think so, with a step towards the goal.
It's been the tale for SLUH a lot in this tournament. A lot of very near dangerous situations.
And, a traditional SLUH team usually takes advantage and doesn't and finishes those. They don't miss.
And there you see Frein possessing, plays back to Jasso. Now Ingram Tolish.
Oh.
Peter Simon tries the little flick, can't quite hit it.
That's where you can't, defend. You got to defend the flick better. You cannot let that get through you.
And an excellent job by Nick Dempster of dropping back into the midfield again to find the game. That's the kind of hustle and the kind of checking that you really need to see from a striker in a game where you're struggling to get it to your strikers.
There's a good run by Nico to get open from the throw-in, something we don't see a lot of lately.
Somebody probably said something to him at halftime. That's it was probably mentioned. Saw too many throw-ins where there were just people standing still. And the ball flicked. Fisher can't get on the end of it. That was nice.
For Jake Meyercord right around now.
And Kurt Gertison tries to find Meyercord. Ball goes through. Dangerous here. Reinwart comes out, and Reinwart claims it. Nice job by Albert Reinwart. Takes a little contact. Referee makes sure he's all right, and here we go.
Meyercord with the Jets. He put on the Jets there the last 5 or 10 yards.
Thought that's a lost situation, then all of a sudden he shows up again.
All right, good way to come back. Now distribute. Now go forward.
And the important thing, he's coming back, but notice where Dempster is. Dempster is staying up. Only one of them is coming back at a time. A lot of times when you get desperate as a striker, you both come back, you make mistakes like that, but they're doing a nice job of communicating.
Not a bad play by Sam Leach, but him and Dempster weren't quite on the same page. Maybe the pass was a little off. But again, that's good play. That's keeping possession. You're stretching out the SLUH defense.
Greaser looking for Meyercord, who puts a hip into Solverud, but a little too much, says the referee.
I don't think Meyercord was ready for that. He got a little surprised, and then he had to do a last-minute ditch with the hip. So again, that's where we want to see Meyercord. I think Drew's got to say Meyercord check and then throw it. That way he knows that that's where you're going. Well, Jake should have probably been doing it in the first place, but
right.
If he's not, that way you make sure he's ready. Good win by Max Steffen.
And ball dumped in, and it's going to be a throw in.
Difference
SLUH.
between, Kurt Gerson and Frying right there. Kurt one timed it where Frying's been able to bring it down and distribute there. Kurt hasn't been able to kind of get in the flow just yet, so it might take him a couple more minutes, a couple more touches on the ball.
And also we mentioned he plays there for club, but it takes a little bit of time to get used to this. It's not his club team, so it's taking a little time to adjust to that role.
Right. And the players, and again, hasn't played it in the first month of the season.
And a formation is one thing, but the formation is the starting point. I mean, everything that matters in soccer is what comes from the formation. You can have three in the back and do things a lot of different ways, but what is your number 5 going to do? What is your number 10 going to do? What is your number 9 going to do? Those are the things that matter. So the formation, you talk about what formation you're playing. It's really where the roles and where you go from that starting initial position that matters. So you can talk about formation all day long, but for Kurt Gerson, it's really understanding the role. Where do you go from that spot? And here's the throw from Peter Simon. Looking near post for Azrez. Good defending from Daig. Leach loses out to Frine. Frine finds Azrez. Azrez tries to poke it in for boarding. One-time volley from Azrez. Nice catch from Johnny Huber. That's a snapshot, but a dangerous one.
I mean, talk about formations. That's why every country, every team, has a different philosophy, has a different opinion on what the best formation is. That's why you try different formations, throughout the season. As you see, a Schenk.
And we're going to get a substitution here. We do want to ask you while we got a stoppage here, do you know a grade school student who might be a future cadet? Please encourage him to pay us a visit and experience CBC for himself. Call Melissa Ryan at 314-985-6095 to schedule a tour of CBC or an 8th grade shadow visit. That's 314-985-6095. Spend a day with us and experience what CBC is all about.
So again, I'm okay with that shot from SLUH. I know it was dangerous, but it was bouncing, and it was about 20, 25 yards out. So it would have been a pretty special shot for it to go in. Again, like I said, it was bouncing too, so that's even harder. So again, as long as CBC's defense, when it's down the corner, as long as they're forcing it outside the 18, that's a win for them. I think the ball's inside the 6-yard box to the penalty spot. Those are going to be dangerous because of SLUH's height. Look at Brendan Fisher with another win.
Yeah, speaking of height.
Yeah, right. Or lack of, right?
Yeah. And here is Gertison. Nice job to find Meyercord, but Meyercord can't get on the end of it. Greaser, a nice little cheeky flick to Leach, and Dempster can't handle that one.
First touch, we need to talk about that again?
Yep. And now Nico sprinting to get forward. That's a good sign, too.
Right. See, he's trying to get in that attack more, which is very encouraging. Max Steffen just runs through it, which is nice to see,
Still running is Steffen. Jasso does a nice job of clearing, and there is no doubt about that one. Should call an effective clearance, and Daig turns out, slips.
That's dangerous.
And he is brought down by boarding. And the linesman didn't flag for that one. Did you notice that?
No, they're not good. I mean, they're like, thanks for the free game.
Yeah.
Or, thanks for I can be a spectator now. I mean, I'm not trying to put down the middle guy, but you just don't see that very often.
No.
Especially when it's right in front. If it's more in the middle,
right.
Okay, but it happened maybe 2 feet away from that.
Well, and the dangerous thing is not so much who gets the throw in. The dangerous thing is that now both teams, players, and coaches are looking at the linesman and the referee saying, you guys disagree with each other. All of a sudden, there's room for us to argue.
Right.
There's a little gap between you, and we can fit ourselves in there, in discussion. And,
referees have a pregame meeting, and normally the referee will either say, help me out in the corners or don't help me out in the corners. So I'm not sure if that meeting was had or he said, and if it was, what did he say? And then did the linesman, abide by or not abide by what was said?
And we do have one of the Derby stars back. Looks like we have all 3 of these starting balls back. These substitutes are all safely.
Was there any doubt?
Oh, no. I wonder if Mike Fuller came through in the clutch for us. course, these balls are each individually imported from Germany, so Coach Mickler has been using Derby Star balls for as long as most people around here have been here. Of course, this year it's a slightly different model. He branched out from the all-white Derby Star to a slightly lighter ball. It's got a pattern on it.
Not sure if that was by choice or by that's the only ball they still make. They went to a new design. Again, he brings over about 15 balls every year from Holland when he goes on his trip in the spring to coach his education for himself. He brings some kids over from his camp, Dutch Touch camp, which is in the summer if you're interested. And he's got a website at DutchTouch.com.
Good positioning from Meyercord. Just can't get on the end of it. That's a good combination there, though, from Stefan and Meyercord, or from Stefan and Caritas in the midfield, and a nice tackle. Not quite.
Is that Meyer?
That was Gertison on the tackle.
Meyercord's got to start concentrating on that first touch.
Yeah,
he's too many opportunities now that the first touch has let him down. He's got to slow down.
Or where he hasn't touched it.
Yeah, right. He's got to slow down. I mean, I think he got, he barely touched that. He's got to slow down and stop thinking about what he's going to do when he gets the ball. He's got to get the ball first.
Ooh.
Dangerous ball.
Nico heads it backwards.
Is that on purpose, you think?
I don't think so. He'll probably tell you it was.
Drew Greaser needs to check out wide.
Yep. You got four guys standing right next to each other in the middle of the field.
A good ball by Johnny, though.
It was. Now Kurt's got to settle this down. Nice job by Frine to break that up. But you like to see Kurt get it on his foot just a little bit quicker.
He doesn't have to go forward all the time, too. Just bring it down square, maybe. Trying to go forward a little too fast.
Nice job by Stefan to keep that in.
Yeah, good first touch.
And Nico drops it in. Meyercord
takes a bump.
He does hold possession, and here is Nico Caritas.
Switch it.
Finds Meyercord in the middle. There's the first touch. And now here is Greaser. Does the right thing, swings it to the middle. Gertison.
Too cute.
Yep. I think it was a little bit of a heavy touch. I think he wanted to take a little bit lighter touch and stay in possession of that one, but didn't work out that way.
I think he tried to knock it behind his back foot. FIFA. I call those FIFA moves. I'm not sure if that's the correct way of saying it, but that's FIFA. You can do some video game. You can do some things that normal human beings can't.
And there we see a little bit of a sloppy first touch from Dempster that time.
Kind of contagious right now, that first touch, or lack of first touch. So Coach Mickler is going to try to find some new forwards that maybe can have a little bit better first touch.
Yeah, Jake McFerrin, Ryan Karen coming in. Here's Greaser's throw. Headed on by Kurt Gertison, and SLUH's going to let this ride for a goal kick.
I saw three guys in the same spot where the ball was. Again, needs to be a little bit better organization on that. Again, if you stand still, you need to go somewhere else. And again, obviously that's a ball for Kurt. Before the throw even said, I almost said this is going to be a throw to Kurt who can flick it on for Ryan or Jake, and Ryan's in the middle of the scrum on the head ball. So again, it's got to be kind of communicated or figured out before that throw has even happened. Ooh. It looks like CBC is just rushing. They got more time than they think.
Right. This breaks for Will Delaroche. Delaroche's cross, a good one to Conway, and an excellent save from Johnny Huber. What a head ball from Clark Conway, and a soaring save from Johnny Huber. Not just to get that, Scott, but to hold it.
Right.
What a save.
That's Johnny's strength is, left or right. His acrobatics in the air is just, I don't know the right adjective to say, but it's just they're amazing.
And Will Delaroche goes through the back of Drew Greaser, which is illegal.
Someone's got springs in his feet. I mean, he was lateral. He was lateral with the floor.
I hope our photo club down there got a still of that. That's going to be a poster someday if they did.
I see Mr. Sayer down there, but he's kind of on the wrong end of the field.
He's got some major resolution on that camera. It might surprise you. He might have gotten something. And here's the free kick for Greaser. While we have a second, we want to let you know that all CBC alums are invited to join us for the upcoming Alumni Weekend. The Alumni Banquet and Hall of Fame induction is Thursday, October 2nd, and the cadets take on the SLUH Junior Bills on Friday, October 3rd. The weekend concludes Sunday with Mass at 9 a.m. and the Alumni Golf Scramble at noon at Forest Park. Find out more at www.cbchs.org or call Alumni Relations Director Joe Gunn at 985-6098. 21:53 to go. Still scoreless here thanks to some heroics from Johnny Huber, who is making a claim for his second consecutive Man of the Match award here on the Cadet Student Network. He was given the Man of the Match on Thursday, partly because of his penalty save that really reignited CBC in the second half.
We like to have seen the throw kind of go to Ethan, that he could swing it around, but guess we had different ideas on that. Again, you know, the possession, getting it out of the backfield has just been not good. So that's where the
and it's not because SLUH's pressing.
No, it's just, I mean, they have two guys pressing. That's it. I mean, so four guys, you know, against the two, and the two are winning right now. So, again, I think it's a lot of it, you know, caused by their own trying to go too fast, thinking that they got more guys on than they really do.
And Nico tries to break it up with a nice sliding tackle. Nice to see that not called. It was slightly from behind, but he did get all ball, no body, and it's nice to see the referees let that one go. Although boarding gets brought down, looked like by Leach, and they're not going to let that one go.
Greaser.
Greaser, correction. So they are going to, it's those green boots. They're wearing the same shoes. But the greenest of them all.
At the same height.
The greenest of them all out there goes to Will Delaroche. Look at those things. Number 3 for SLUH.
Think you put a little extra spray paint on them? Or
I don't know.
They glow in the dark?
How do you get those polished at the airport? That's what I want to know. What does the guy have that can do that? All right, here is the ball coming in from SLUH. Joe Jasso delivers.
And swinger dangerous.
Right into the arms of Johnny Huber. He's got to watch out. There you go. Right,
that's where Will Delaroche needs to kind of get anything on it. He needs to dive and just get a shoelace, a cleat, something on it, just to misdirect it.
Maybe even a sound wave from the loud shoes he's wearing. And ball goes back to Ethan Degg.
Real question is, looks like he barely has socks on. Is there shin guards on those bad boys?
They're in there somewhere.
I guarantee they're not the ones that had the stamp of approval on them, that's for sure.
Yeah, probably not. One of the guys I used to play with used to, and we forgot his shin guards, he used to go in the nearest trash can, try to find a to-go cup, fold that one up, put it in his socks.
I've seen cardboard. They take the cardboard and rip it up. And here's the best one I've ever seen was they took one shin guard, broke it in half, and that's your two shin guards. That's when I think the stamp rule came into effect because nobody was wearing really shin guards. They were just wearing, whatever they could find. But again, it's like football players not wearing all your pads. Just trying to make yourself a little bit faster, mobile.
I guess.
Not sure if it really helps, to be honest. Shin guards are there to.
They're your friend.
Yeah, right. Especially defenders and really pretty much everybody.
Yeah, except goalies. Goalies and shin guards, it really doesn't matter because if you're going to get kicked, it's probably going to be in the stomach or head. So that's the reassuring part of the goalkeeping position. So 18:40 to go.
Not a bad idea. Just Jake McFerrin wasn't reading this. He was on the same wavelength as Max Steffen.
And Max Steffen streaking down that left-hand wing.
You can tell he wants to get forward. He wants to score, which is a good
little
sign.
tangle there. Ryan Karen on the ball now. Karen cuts inside, beats one, can't beat Matt Frein, who is by far, I think, SLUH's man of the match so far.
You tell that SLUH defends with a group. They defend 2 or 3 guys around it, which is good team defense.
And Gertison almost does the splits to try to maintain possession there, but fortunately, Fisher's
communication between Nico and Gertison. Again, it was the right idea. I just think Kurt needed to stay in the passing lane. He moved out of the passing lane for Nico to pass it to him.
And SLUH has everyone behind the ball right now. Elliott Boarding finally steps out as the outlet option, but SLUH really putting everyone behind the ball. I think they're just looking to counterattack at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of,
and
Smith, that's kind of how SLUH's been the last 5-10 years.
Right.
Counterattack, make a mistake, and then they're going to go up in the middle and press hard.
And Drew Greaser's going to get some time.
See Charlie
here.
Martell, Coach Martell, applauding his guys. Not sure what there is to applaud right now other than good defense.
Yeah, well, they're holding a shape. That's the most important thing.
Okay. Good settle by Ryan Karen there. Oh.
And he get brought down. That's a foul, yes.
Yeah.
If the ball doesn't come back, you may not call that, but since the ball did come back and we were denied possession by
Again, like the call, he kept kept the advantage, and then noticed that he couldn't get up to get that pass. So referee called it, and now he's stepping out 10 yards when it's pretty clear with the football markers. But now if you get spray paint it, then it'll only be more efficient.
Foam.
Yeah, it'll be only more efficient there.
Now, the world has gotten used to it when the crowds are no longer applauding in England every time the can comes out. They were cheering for a while every time it got sprayed.
Now it's
except in Newcastle, where if it isn't tradition, it ain't good. So, but yeah, it's become a part of the game.
I think the refs loved it in the World Cup.
That's great.
I mean,
it's non-negotiable. If you're in front of that line, you got to stop it. And it's nice to not see them taking. Every time the ref turns away, they take a little baby step.
Right. And then they started using every chance they could possibly get. They put it on the ball and then the wall.
The real fun for the crowd is when the foam doesn't work. They enjoy that one.
Haven't seen that very often.
I've seen one that wouldn't quite fire right away. It was the first round of the World Cup, I believe. The crowd loved it.
Yeah, the crowd needs something to get into some games.
And this game would be one of those.
I was thinking that, but I didn't
did I just say that out loud?
Yeah, right. Is this on the air? All right, 15 minutes left.
Yeah, for all the viewers who haven't just left us with that comment.
Yeah, right. 15 minutes left. Both teams desperately needing a goal, wanting a goal. CBC doesn't want to go, 3 games in a tournament and 3 ties.
Right. And if it happened last year, by the way, and if
which shows not a very good sign.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. But if this result holds, SLUH does win the tournament. So if they keep a 0-0 draw here, they get 1 point for the draw, and they wouldn't need that anyway, but they would go up to 11 points over Vianney's 10. CBC would go up to 6 and finish in 3rd place.
I got a question for you, Tom. Do you think SLUH, that's in the back of SLUH's mind, or is it, do you think
no.
to win the tournament or to win the game?
No.
Win the game?
I mean, they're trying to win this game. This is SLUH CBC.
Right.
And these coaches know that the minute you try to just sit back and defend for 80 minutes against a team, coached by Terry Mickler, basically, if you let Terry Mickler watch your defense for 80 minutes, what do you think he's going to see? Something he can exploit.
Right.
And second, with the talent that CBC has, regardless of whether they're performing to their abilities or not, SLUH has watched the games in this tournament, perhaps even on the Cadet Student Network, and they know that when pressed, CBC can come up with big goals when they need them. We've seen CBC fight down from leads, and they know that CBC get 2 quick goals at the end of the game, they could lose this tournament. So I don't think at this point a draw is SLUH's goal. Now, talk to me 10 minutes from now. When there's 4 minutes left,
absolutely.
If CBC's pressing, I think they'll say, all right, everybody behind the ball, let's just not let's park the bus.
I guess my question is, you played, is the tournament championship just icing on the cake? And, you got you play to beat all your conference foes, and if at the end of the 3 games you're winning, that's just, the icing on the cake? Or is it, is that in the thought, your mind, okay, well, we're 13 minutes left, if we get a tie, we win. And, does Coach Martell talk about the different scenarios before the game starts?
Well, I think probably.
Or does kids know? Do kids kind of do it?
I think he probably does because I think he understands and he wants his players to understand. I mean, from what I know about Coach Martell, he wants his players to understand that they're involved in something special. This is a 37th consecutive tournament. The history that these teams have, I think you can't ignore that, and I think you have to make sure the students feel that. So I think that's something that's in his mind. But also, on the other side of that is, from a coach's perspective, I would have to imagine, for a lot of these teams, this is the first chance to consistently test your team against really, really tough opposition. So you look at a tournament win in this tournament, yes, it's nice. It doesn't mean as much as seeing your team rise to every challenge that they face. That tells you that when push comes to shove later in the season, they've got it in them. And if you go, and sadly, DeSmet's in the situation now, if you go the entire tournament without stepping up, that pretty much tells you what you need to know on the other side of it. So I think, yes, he wants to win this tournament. He wants to see if they can rally and get this goal and put this thing away. That's why you're seeing these players pressing up high here. But he certainly isn't going to be weeping on the drive home if they win this tournament with a 0-0 draw.
Right. I think again, it's a measuring stick.
It is.
I really do think that, tournament above anything is a measuring stick. Tell you how good you are, what you need to improve on, and then you go to work at practice, go to work at your games, stuff like that, about things that you need to work on. I mean, yeah, tournament championship is nice, but again, like you said, 3 tough games. Tell you where you're at, what you need to work on, and then and see how you've done. If you won all 3 games, doesn't mean that your season's over or things are going great.
Right.
It just means we're at a good point now. Where's our weaknesses and make a step forward.
And depending on the coach, you might play up the tournament title a little bit more just to see how your players respond to that.
Yeah.
If you go in saying, "Hey guys, the tournament win's nice, but I want to see you play well," they come out. Whereas if you say, "Guys, this tournament means everything. This is tradition." This, then all of a sudden you see how they deal with that.
Right. That's true. I think the other thing, the hard part is, holy smokes.
I guess it went both ways. Dempster got brought down, and then Tolish went down.
And, the linesman can't do anything.
Right.
And I think the referee was blocked by a few guys.
And here's Daig.
Yeah, that's the only bad thing about, a round-robin tournament is that, what I'm trying to say is there's no, levels to go up in a championship game. It's every game is vital, and sometimes it's hard for these kids to comprehend that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Every game's a championship game. That's what the expectations need to be. But, again, at the same time, if you lose one, it doesn't mean you're out. So, again, there's a lot of different ways of going at it.
Good physical defending from Ethan Daig there. Took out Elliott Boarding, but went straight into him front to front. Got the ball first. That is a physical challenge. SLUH's coaches are irate about that. But to be quite honest with you, I have no idea why. From what it looked like, 2 players going straight into the ball. Neither of them left their feet. Daig got the ball. The 2 players collided. I guess you got to show your players you're willing to go to bat for them, but I think the right call or the right no call there.
Yeah, and Elliott's been kind of, he's been hung on a little bit too, so I'm sure he's frustrated.
Yeah, and here's Clark Conway.
Oh, boy.
Great tackle from Daig.
Thought it might have been close to a magical penalty inside the box, but he got all ball. Joey Dokai with the swing and a miss, but came up with the ball. Again, getting physical, getting sloppy right now. People are, I'm not sure if they're tired or just, more worried about being the physicality of the game, or I'm not sure what's going on.
So Ethan Daig living dangerously back there, but all in all, good defending. Nice backtracking from Dempster. That leaves Meyercourt up top all on his own. I think Solverud clears it with the back of his head, not the part you want to use, but it's effective. Greaser plays it through straight in between Meyercourt and Dempster. Neither of them get onto it, but it's misplayed by Solverud initially, who does masterfully to try to maintain possession there. And this is, I get the feeling, the opening salvo of a pretty entertaining 9 minutes and 8 seconds here.
Right.
Dempster plays wide. Good vision to pick out Steffen. Slow things down a little bit. Steffen cuts inside. Solverud does nicely to clear. Adam Smith now on it. Dumps it into the corner for Leach. And there's that first touch we were talking about. Nice to see Sam control that.
Looked like Sam tried to show him how he could juggle a little bit.
I thought he was going to try to juggle it back over. Ooh, in the 5-hole. Leach beats Tolish, and the CBC fans love that one. They're banging the drums down there. 8 minutes and 38 seconds to go. CBC pressing. Steffen back for Smith.
This is kind of what we've been wanting to see the whole match.
And it all started with this this physical play down here with Dempster and Tolish, and then back there with Ethan Daig going into two full-blooded tackles. And all of a sudden, again, that sort of thing tells your team, hey, there's something to play for. Guys are throwing themselves on the line, and we need to get after it here.
And it needs to keep possession right now. You need to keep possession and make SLUH foul you, make SLUH chase you. SLUH's frustrated. They think every time they get touched, they should get a foul called. I think Coach Clark and Coach Martell kind of are, making that point with the referee, and now the SLUH players are kind of getting that as well. So again, that's why I say you make SLUH chase you. instead of the vice versa.
Right, and saw the nice composure from Matt Frine to maintain possession, find Ingram Tolish. Clark Conway flicks on for Elliott Boarding. It was two good flicks, but they were a striker short over there.
I say flicked on to Ethan Digg, but Ethan Digg wasn't ready for it.
Playing on the wrong team.
That too. But again, as a defender, if you're not going to be on them, you got to get off them and get ready for that. You know, you either challenge or you're not going to bring it down with your head. I've never seen that before, really.
Right.
All right. So
and coming off of a striker right as he goes up for it, also there's a little bit of panic there in the striker's mind because you don't know where if he's got his hand on you, you know exactly where he is and you know where he can flick it that he won't be. Right. But if he drops off on you right at the last minute, you're going up for that thinking, okay, where is he? Where do I want to put this? And a lot of times you make a mistake.
And then he flicks it to your foot, you bring it down and you possess it. You know, Ethan kind of wasn't ready for it, and he had to get back and track it a little bit, and then you see the missed kick.
And Johnny gives it a ride. Dempster claims. But Ingram Tolish does Matt Frine does a nice job of claiming. Reclaiming, that is. And Leach's throw. Nice job by Sam to get back on this, but another heavy touch, and Joe Jasso does a nice job of stepping up on that.
You got to put it out far enough so you can get a shot, but just a little too far.
Maybe a foot too far.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think he was a little surprised those defenders were able to close on him as quick as they were. Again, Sam's still trying to get used to the varsity level. He missed the first few games, all those types of things. Saw Coach Mickler helping out the linesman over there a little bit.
I don't see that very often.
No.
5:47 to go in this one. Still scoreless here. Again, as this result holds, SLUH will win this tournament.
Right now, CBC is needing to win the game.
Right, CBC needs to win this game 2-0 to win the tournament.
They just need to win the game.
Yeah, for them, they just need something here. A good gritty goal here goes a long way for you as a team.
Oh, see that coming. Drew just hesitated 3 or 4 different times.
Right, here's Peter Simon, very much a danger man. Nice job by Sam Leach to track back. And Digg very calmly finds him. That's good play from Ethan Digg. Anytime you're playing center back in a 3-man back line, you need to be a good distributor of the ball. Right. It's one of the essentials of playing in a 3-man system versus a 4-man system. I mean, it's nice if your 4-man, your 2 center backs can play with their feet, but more so in a 3-man system.
Again, he didn't rush it, kept possession. That's what we've been seeing. So, pretty much the second half, a lot of the second half at least, for CBC. Again, the defense has played a whole lot better than they did in the first half.
Right.
In the first half, CBC was just giving it away.
And Clark Conway beats his man. If I'm SLUH, I'm pretty angry with that because, yes, it's a yellow card. It's a clear yellow card. That is Adam Smith, your captain, getting a yellow card. But if I'm SLUH, I'm really angry with that because he had a clear advantage. He did not lose the ball. He's dribbling into the penalty area. He has options in the middle, and you call it back instead of letting SLUH continue the play. Essentially, you're punishing SLUH for having a foul against them.
If you're going to do that, I mean, that's not a red offense, but that's the only way to really make it up is, you stop the play. You stopped.
You stopped the momentum.
I mean,
SLUH had everything going.
Both coaches, Coach Martell and Coach Clark, were giving the play on signal. What you do there as a referee is you let them play on, and then once the play ends, shot wide, goalie saves it. You stop play, stop the clock, then give Adam the card.
Right.
I was watching Arsenal today, and that's exactly what the referee did.
I mean, you can let him play if the ball doesn't go out of bounds. You can let him play for 20 minutes, and go back and retroactively card him.
That's the beauty about soccer is that you don't have to stop the play right away. You can always go back.
And another thing you don't see very often here, Adam Smith.
That is surprising.
Adam Smith goes off with the yellow card, and he is already ready to come back on.
I think that's what.
That goes to show you what Coach Mickler thinks of that yellow card, I think.
No, I think it's...
Or I guess it shows the situation, maybe.
Thanks to the refereeing in general, let's be honest.
Not a move you see very often from Coach Mickler.
3.5
to go.
I don't think Coach saw, maybe he saw that card, because I don't think that if you saw... I saw him, Adam pretty much grab him, bring him down, so maybe, I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking, because normally Coach makes them sit down for a little bit before they come in. Maybe he felt like that was a good play for Adam to do because, it would have been a goal if it wasn't. And maybe that's what it was. I mean, that could have happened. I mean,
right.
I mean, if they would have let the play on, chances our SLUH scoring are very, very high.
Right, it's a tactical foul is essentially what it is. So Smith comes back on. And CBC throwing some numbers forward. You see the full-blooded sprint up from Gertison. He's trying to get his head on something.
He's excited about going up there. Wanting a goal.
I love watching guys who primarily defend get a chance to go forward.
Or been at least defending the last 5 weeks.
Right. There's a lot of pent-up desire to shoot.
Even though Kurt's got 2 goals on the year.
Yeah, he does. He scored the first goal of the season, the game against Jefferson City. That one, that's over the hill, too. And Coach Mike Fuller going back at it. He seems to be the specialist at this point. Now, the real question is, can he find a gap in the fence over there?
There is not a gap.
There isn't.
I think he is the watch guy, and he's telling somebody, I think it might be Franco Dokai, going to get that ball.
He's the spotter.
Yeah, he's the spotter.
All right, 2-minute warning here.
2-man job.
Both teams would love a goal here. CBC would need 2 to win the tournament. I don't see that happening, but you never know. 1:47. Good exchange there between Ryan Caron and Sam Leach.
There you go.
Now straight through. This is Kurt Gertison. Can't get on it. Flick from Meyercourt, and that is just wide of the goal.
Oh, they didn't help it? I thought the defender knocked it wide.
I think the ball hit the outside of the post as the defender slid at it.
Okay.
So
the referee was right there, so he's probably the best view of it.
Good hustle from the defenders, but how close can you come? That was a good exchange, though, a great exchange from Gertison and Leach that set everything up, and Meyercourt was just the beneficiary with the chance.
Yeah, if we would have seen this all 80 minutes, and still have the result of a 0-0, Coach Mickler is not. Nobody's going to be upset.
Right, but the problem is that we saw it for the first 5 minutes and now the last 8.
Right.
So under a minute now. Leach loses out to Tolish. Now SLUH, can they get one more chance?
50 seconds. Going to have at least time for at least 1 or 2 more rushes for either team.
And here's Frein. Cooley plays it to, that was Matt Lesko. Tolish, Cooley dumps it 30 yards to John Huber. Huber's going to give it a ride right away. 34 to go. Gertison with the head. Closed down by Alex Solverud.
Another good way of playing the flick. Just get on top of them. Yep. So,
ball played out to Max Steffen, who had a good first touch. That time it was the second that let him down, and it's going to be a SLUH throw, and you get the feeling that that's going to be it. Barring something in the next 14 seconds. Nice one-handed grab there from backup keeper Tom Duncan. But inside of 10 now. Ball still out of bounds. Well, that is it. The game ends 0-0, and the 2014 CBC Tournament champions are the Junior Billikens from St. Louis University High School. What we saw, they were the best team in the tournament. I think we have to say that SLUH performed the best. It wasn't always pretty, but it was gritty. They got the results they needed.
Yeah.
They were resilient under pressure from CBC, also from Vianney. We saw it in that game as well. So congratulations to the Junior Billikens of St. Louis University High School.
They were definitely better, Tuesday and Thursday. Today, kind of probably, obviously, was a draw.
It was the least glamorous of their games for sure. But
Right. But again, that's a little bit of expectations. You can't have your best effort every night, that's for sure. And they knew what they needed to do, and they did it, and they come away with the tournament victory.
And for CBC, the questions continue. I think the formation in the first half was maybe didn't work quite as Coach Mickler planned, but it really wasn't the formation that was at issue. What was at issue was, yet again, just the player performances, the check into the ball, the little things, the intangibles that all these kids are capable of, but we just haven't seen.
Again, all these formations that we use work. It's just the personnel that plays with them. And that's what Coach is trying to figure out is, all right, what personnel will work with what other personnel, other players, and then once you get that, what formation will work the best? And so that's still a mystery. Again, it might take all season. Sometimes, last year it didn't take. They still were looking for it by the end of the year. They thought they had it, but again, I'm not sure. The SLUH game of last year at their CBC's last game, they found some flaws in it as well. Again, CBC still got injuries and illnesses, things like that. You'd like, kind of interested to see how Brandon Hennessy would do in that, midfield role as well next to Nico. Nico and Brennan really haven't played together much this season because of injury or illness from one of the other two. So, again, you're still not seeing a full team. You're not, but again, you got to overcome it. You got to be more than an 11-man group. It's got to be a 20-man, 15 guys regularly playing, things like that nature. So, again, is this a good point? I guess you can say that. But, it's a positive to whereas, I think there were negatives maybe on Tuesday or Wednesday, I guess, and Thursday. So now the question is, how are they going to do next week? How are they going to take this into going into the next week of games? And are they going to build off this, or are they going to take a step back? And that's where the team hasn't really done. They've builded. Like we talked about Collinsville, they took a step forward and then took a couple steps back, things of that nature. So, again, it's still a work in progress. I think everybody will admit that. But the question is now, where are we going from here? Where is it building from here?
And the last thing we have to do, of course, is give our Man of the Match award. I think this match comes down to two players. I think it comes down to Matt Frein on SLUH, both defensively and offensively. In distribution, in possession, and as well as breaking up CBC's possession, he was immense all night, and I think was the standout player for SLUH. Also deserving consideration from SLUH would probably be Alex Solverud, the number 22 central defender, did a nice job breaking things up and not allowing CBC to develop. And for CBC, I think you'd have to give it to John Huber. You look at 2 or 3 major saves, including one of the best high school saves you'll ever see.
Right.
So
he saved the game.
He did.
I think that might be the easy one to go with right there.
I think it is because the impact he had was taking a 2-0 loss and turning it into a 0-0 draw. So John Huber, for the second time in the tournament, congratulations. You are our man of the match. That's going to do it for us. We do want to thank all of our students who've been involved in the broadcast. The lead on the broadcast, our producer, Alex Som, helping us out, Charlie Hines, Henry Hines, John McQuaid, John Rolfe, and Kyle Hunt. And also Bryson Schroeder, who's trying to avoid getting credit for all the hard work he does as our executive producer here on CSN. And Tony Gambino also wants credit, so we'll give him a shout-out. So seriously, guys, thank you for all that you've done. We thank you for joining us, and we hope you'll check our Twitter feed at CBCCSN and also our website, cbccsn.com, for upcoming events. For Scott Hingle and all of us here at CSN, I'm Tom Eichwald. We want to thank you for joining us, and we will see you again soon.